who they will face is
Right.
the
Who
real
are they going to
question.
play?
That's who knows. I love my Suns, of course, and I was there for Game 3. But what do you think about what's going on in the West? What's going to happen? Who's going to meet up with the Celtics?
Yeah, so I think, as much as I would love to see it be the Suns, I think the Lakers, even though the Suns are only one game out now, so if they can win the next game, it's a tie series. I feel like having to win twice in Phoenix, um, and winning in LA, I think it'll just end up being too much to overcome. They've got the one more game in Phoenix and then two more in LA if they win it in game seven. And in addition to the one in Phoenix. And I think the Lakers, the first two games the Suns played, with the exception of Channing Frye, they played as well as you could possibly play. 50% from the field, hit their free throws. I mean, their offensive game was top notch, and they still lost by 15 points, 20 points. I mean, so it was almost like, what more can we do? And they came out, and Amari showed what more they could do, but I just don't think they'll be able to sustain that for a whole series. I think the Lakers are just too big and too good, and Lamar Odom is the X factor, and I don't see him being shut down for the 4 games it's going to take him being shut down for the Suns to come back and win this.
I got you. Yeah. I mean, I'm a Suns fan, and of course, we know what I want to see and what I hope
Right,
happens. I'm also a realist. I'm not one of those fans that says like, oh, the Suns are the best and everyone else is the worst, and they're going all the way just because I love them. And
right,
I know that the Lakers are unbelievable. Kobe Bryant, one of the best players of all time. The size we've been talking about the size with the Lakers all season long. That no one can compete with the size. Pau Gasol has continued to evolve. Lamar Odom is the X factor, like you said. So I know that it's a great team. But what the Suns did show me in Game 3, which of course I was sitting underneath the hoop for, right up close, saw Nash's nose get broken about 10 feet away from me. It was gnarly. Anyways, what I did see, when Gentry moved it to that zone defense, that changed everything. Uh, and I know that you can't just win. You can't play a whole game and win playing the zone defense in the NBA because guys can hit threes. But at the same time, the guys that were jacking up the most threes when they were open were Lamar Odom and Ron Artest. Artest shot 2 of 7 from 3, and most of those were open threes, keep in mind.
right.
And Lamar Odom shot 0 for 4. So from 3. And if we can keep those guys, I'll give those guys some open looks. I know Artest killed us in LA with those threes, but for the season, Ron Artest is not shooting anything close to that. He's shooting 35% from 3, and in the playoffs, he's actually shooting 25% from 3. So I'll give him some open looks. The other thing that the Suns have to maintain is Amari Stoudemire attacked the rim immediately in the start of that game, and it got all their bigs in foul trouble. And not only that, his shots were falling, his layups were falling, and the free throw advantage it gave us was unbelievable. We hit 88% of our free throws. I know that all of that sounds like that all has to stack up every time. This is with our bench playing terrible. Nobody contributing from the bench, including Channing Frye, is now 1 of 20 for this series. But if we can continue play like that, Amari just needs to continue to be aggressive. We can keep their guys in foul trouble. Andrew Bynum is almost non-existent in this series now. He played 7 minutes. Phil Jackson called him out and said he might not play, which he's going to play. But
Right.
that's got to do something to his confidence. His meniscus is torn. It has to stack up real well for the Suns for them to win. I'm not going to lie. They have to defend home court. They have to win tomorrow. They have to steal one in LA. All of that is very difficult. Do I think it's possible? Absolutely. And I'm still going to stick with the Suns with my prediction, partially out of wishful thinking, but partly because the things that I have seen have made me feel differently. And if we can have Bynum as a non-factor, that changes a lot. Even if he's not contributing a lot in points, his long arms and length disrupt a lot of things. And if he's not going to be a factor, that changes a lot. Pau Gasol's great, Lamar Odom's great, but without that Bynum playing like that, it could change things. I mean, I'm also being optimistic, but what do you think? Do you think any of that factors into it, or do you think that Kobe's just going to turn it on like he always does, and it's going to be over?
Yeah, I mean, I do think the Lakers are gonna come away with it, but I definitely think it's possible. I think there you go, the ring endorsement for the Suns. I think the best thing they've got going for them now is they're only down one game. It's not like the Magic. At this point they're down one game, and even if they get down another game, I do think they have to win at home. But let's say they lose tomorrow night, they can still take it one game at a time. There's no tomorrow. So that is something they have going for them. That's something that's always dangerous come playoff time in every sport, but especially the NBA, I think, with there's no tomorrow. You really see that. Always reminds me of the 300 when they're getting ready for the epic battle scene. I've always said if I was a coach, I would play that scene before the big game. But I think that's something that the Suns have going for them. So I definitely do think it's possible. Not necessarily the most probable, but hopefully that'll materialize for you and the rest of the Orange Nation out there. But
Orange.
yeah, Planet Orange. We will tune in to that tomorrow night
You can
and
catch me under the hoop, baby.
look for Jess. Will you be in your pink shirt?
I don't know what I'm wearing yet, but I'll be left side of your TV screen behind one of the camera guys sitting on the floor.
On the floor, ready to see a Suns victory. So again, that game is tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern on TNT. Lakers, Suns, Game 4. And hope you've enjoyed. This has been your NBA playoff recap, and we will be back with more Joe and the Pro as the playoffs progress. Signing off.